Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a fantasy romance book haul. I'm very excited for this video because I haven't done a book haul in quite a long while. It's been probably at least 10 months. There were a couple of books here and there that I bought throughout the year, but really maybe only a few. So all of these books right here are more recent gifts or purchases. They're all fantasy romance books, and I just wanted to talk about them before I put them on my bookshelves. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you do so. Don't forget to click the notification bell and click the like button and comment down below and let me know what your most recent book was that you hauled. I don't do a lot of book hauls anymore really because I am not buying as many books, but Christmas happened and so here we are. I just have 10 books to talk about and I'm actually really excited about all of them. They are books that I really want to read or books that I've read and adored. So let's get into this video. The first book I'm going to talk about is Quicksilver. I got this at Barnes & Noble and I really love how we're seeing more of these raised letters that we used to get on books that I feel like we didn't get for a little bit there. But for this one, like the silver tier is raised. The butterflies are raised. So we have some embossing here, which is really cool. But this is a fantasy romance that really took the world by storm recently in 2024. This book is about Sarah who lives in this impoverished section of a city in the desert. The water is rationed, which could be very hard if you imagine living in a desert, obviously. I think they only get like 6 ounces a day or something crazy like that. So obviously there's going to be a lot of crime in this area. A lot of people just trying to get by and survive. And one day she steals from a guard and she gets sent to the queen for punishment. She gets put in front of this crazy queen and this queen is seriously unhinged. Anyway, in the process, she ends up falling through a portal and she goes to this snowy, frosty, fey realm. And there she meets the king of that realm. He needs her special powers that she has, and so she has to work in close proximity to Kingfisher, and they do not get along. Kingfisher hates her, and they have to work together. So it's an enemies to lovers fantasy romance that is so steamy. So spicy, so hot. It was so much fun. This is very plot driven, very fun, action forward, very spicy. It was just such a fun ride. If you haven't picked this up, there is a good reason that is so hyped right now. The next one here is a gift from Jess from Honest Fiction. Thank you so much, Jess. She sent me the special edition of Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. This one has really cool sprayed edges. I'm not usually a sprayed edges girly. Like, I like them, but I don't like go out of my way for them. But this is such a cool edition. The inside cover is so pretty. And it's signed by the author as well. So thank you so much, Jess. I just read this whole trilogy and it was a fast, fun, just plot-driven, fun time. Like, it is not the most wonderfully, perfectly written story, but it is wonderful. Like, it's just fun. It is such a fun time. So this is Dragon Shifters, Why Choose? Our heroine goes to this university. It's not like a magical university. Like, it's set in real world. She meets this dragon shifter and he's part of a dragon shifter pack. And it turns out she is also a dragon shifter and they are fated mates, and basically all hell breaks loose every 20 pages. This is a kind of unhinged story. Like, it's kind of crazy. I definitely didn't take it too seriously, but it was just so much fun and so fast paced. I had to binge the whole series, and I did. I read them all back to back to back, all 3 books in the trilogy, and I'll definitely be picking up more Tessa Hale. The next was a gift from my mother-in-law, and this is Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. So I finally get to continue on with this book. I actually got, I don't know, maybe like a third of the way in, and then my library hold lapsed, but it was an ebook, so they just like took it back right away. So I was not able to finish reading it, and I was so upset. So I need to finish this one, maybe in February, I'm thinking, because I'm just so excited. This one has pretty sprayed edges too, and embossing, and the cover is absolutely stunning. This is like a cozy romantasy in a very, very unique cozy world, and it is about this girl. She works at a library, but then when a rebellion kind of comes to the city, she ends up running away to the island where she was born, and there she opens up a spell shop, but it's being covered up by a like cover business of her making jam. And so she sells her jam, but really in the back she's selling illegal spells. And she got these spells because she stole a bunch of books from the library where she was originally working. So that is like the general synopsis, but there's like a cute little romance. The world building and the magic and everything is so interesting in this world. I love all the really unique creatures, and I think we're gonna get found family and just a really good time. She has this sentient spider plant companion, which is really cool, and I just can't wait to continue on with this book. So I'm just so happy to finally have a copy so I can continue. She also gifted me When the Moon Hatched, which was one of my favorite fantasy romances of 2024. This is about a world where dragons, when they die, they go up to the sky, they become moons, and we have Rave, who is an assassin, and she is working like for the rebellion. The romance is between her and Khan, and the two of them have this star-crossed lovers type of star-crossed enemies to lovers romance that I don't want to go into too much detail about, but the cover of this is absolutely stunning. I didn't even realize until I saw it close up there is like a castle right here, which is really cool. And this has beautiful end papers and sprayed edges that are like light blue, and this is just so pretty, and I love this book. I love Sarah A. Parker. She's one of my favorite fantasy romance authors. Her writing style is very unique. It is very flowery, and she just drops you kind of in the middle of a story. She doesn't just drop you in the middle of a world. She drops you in the middle of a story, and then you have to kind of figure out where it all began. And she does that in both of her series that I've read so far. And it's a very unique way of telling a story, but also very intriguing, and I love it. So the next book I picked up was Blood of Hercules. This one is by Jasmine Mass. Now, I just read her Psycho Shifters trilogy. It's actually 2 trilogies, and the story and the plot continues on in the second trilogy. So I haven't technically finished the series, but I finished the first trilogy. The first menage couple, I did finish that storyline technically. So I adored it. The third book was the first book I read so far this year, and it was a 6-star read. I have so much more to read from Jasmine Mass because I love her writing. She puts a lot of humor into her writing, and I love that. And I've heard that that's in this too, so I'm very excited. So this one is actually about a girl who has a drop of god blood. She's like a female Hercules, and it is a why choose. It's supposed to be very dark. So was Psycho Shifters. That was a very dark, unhinged Omegaverse type of book. So I don't know if this is actually Omegaverse or if it's just why choose. This is like kind of inspired by Greek mythology, obviously. The inside picture, oh my goodness. Stunning, very pretty. So I can't wait to pick this up. I'm trying to wait. I kind of want to read the second Psycho Shifters trilogy first before I pick this up, because we still have to wait for the second and third book to come out anyway. And her books make me want to binge them. So, okay, next I figured I should go ahead and get the final book in the Plated Prisoner trilogy. So I am picking up Gold very soon here. The audiobook just came out yesterday, and this is Goldfinch, which is the final and 6th book in the Plated Prisoner trilogy. It's a King Midas retelling. It is a dark fantasy romance with a lot of triggers, so make sure you check those out. I think all of the books on here just check triggers. The heroine in the series is one of my favorite heroines of all time, and she does so much growing. And there's so much character growth and found family, and it's a very slow burn kind of story. Not even slow burn, like well, yes, once you meet the hero, it is still slow burn from there too, but you actually don't even meet the hero until the end of the first book in this series. So the romance doesn't really start really getting going until the third book, but this is really good. I need to read Gold, and then I can read Goldfinch. And I can't like look in here and look at it because I'm scared I'm gonna get spoiled. So I'm gonna put this book down. Next is another series continuation that I picked up, and this is A Promise of Perido. So this is the second book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. The first book is Dawn of Onyx, and this is by Kate Golden, and I really enjoyed Dawn of Onyx. I gave it 4 stars. It's just like a fun fantasy romance. Like, it's not my favorite all time, but it's also just a fun time. It's like a good palate cleanser, like a good quick fantasy romance, if that makes sense, which has its place. Like, I really like a book like this sometimes. So I really liked it, and I need to still pick up the third book, but I figure I'll read this one first and then I'll pick up the third book like after. So Dawn of Onyx is like an enemies to lovers, captor-captive story about a heroine who is a healer, and she has like magical healing abilities, and she is taken captive by the Onyx Kingdom for those healing abilities, and she has a romance from there. I hope it continues to improve. Like, hopefully this is a 5-star read, but I'll be happy if it just stays like a fun, like 3.5, 4-star type of series where it's just like a really good, fun, fast-paced palate cleanser type of thing. So I'm happy either way. Can't wait to find out what happens next. And then I have this behemoth. I did not realize how much thicker this book would be. This is book 6 in the Zodiac Academy series. This is over 1,000 pages. So this is book 7, Heartless Sky, book 7 in the Zodiac Academy series. There's 9 books total, so I have 3 more books to read, and I'm wanting to finish the series out this year. So I had to pick up the next book. I do actually read them on Kindle, but I'm still collecting them because I really like the series and I want to own all of them. So I do tend to read them on Kindle though, because especially with this one, like, this would like damage my wrists if I tried to like read this physically, to be honest. This is a fantasy romance series about twins. So you're following multiple love stories in this, and they're bully romances. These 2 girls are found in the human world and they're taken to the Fae realm. It turns out they didn't even know it, but they are Fae, and they are not only Fae, they are the heirs to the kingdom, and they are bullied by the temporary heirs. And they go to the school, the Zodiac Academy, and they're kind of like learning how to control their magic while being bullied at the same time and treated like crap by everyone, because the Fae in this world are all basically awful. So they're also all shifters and different kinds of shifters and have different types of magic. It's like an elemental magic system, which is really cool too. So I like it. It's totally unhinged. I totally get why people don't like it, but I like it. Finally, my last 2 books I'm going to talk about together because they're in the same series. And so the first one is Spark of the Everflame, and the second one is Glow of the Everflame. So I read Spark of the Everflame in 2024, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It was like an honorable mention on my best books of the year list. And then I just read Glow, and I read this is the second book that I read this year, and I gave it 5 stars. So I started out my year with a 6-star and then a 5-star read. I hope that is a sign of a really good year. I'm hoping it's not all downhill from here. But I loved Glow. I loved Spark. I can't wait to read, what is it, Heat, or is Heat the 4th one? I don't know, but there's 2 more to read. One is out. I still have to read the 3rd one, and then the 4th one is coming out hopefully this year. And this is by Penn Cole. It's a fantasy romance series, and our heroine is a healer. I like healers as the heroines. I don't know, but our heroine is a healer. Her mother has gone missing, and she ends up going to the castle to help heal some descended children, which are like the Fae of this world. And she goes to help heal them. And from there, she meets the prince, and things go from there. It's very political. There's a rebellion. She's very conflicted. She feels pulled from different directions between her family and her boyfriend and the descended and the rebellion and her duties as a healer. So it's really interesting. It's very world building and politics heavy, and I really like that. So these are such a great time. I had to pick up a copy for myself, and I think these covers are really pretty. So there you have it. Those are the 10 fantasy romance books that I have bought or was gifted recently. I'm trying really hard to only buy books that are either series continuations or books I've already read or books from authors that I know that I've really loved. So I'm being very strict with my books and like what I put on my shelves nowadays, because I did so much book buying in the last 2 years when I first started my channel, and it was just too much. And I find myself looking at a lot of books on my shelves that I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to read that. I don't know what I'm going to do about those. Luckily, I have a lot of shelves. Like I have shelves in front of me that you guys don't see, and then I have all these shelves behind me where I still have plenty of room. So I'm not doing a lot of unhauling yet, but it could happen in the future, obviously. For now, I still have plenty of room and time to decide if I want to keep these books or what I want to do. But I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to let me know your most recent book that you hauled, and click the like button if you haven't already. All of my links are down below in the description, including my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon, and the link to the Hideaway Discord. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life.
Said you felt that way, and guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your